Hello, everyone. Matt Malatesta, Matthew Ogle. New podcast. Let's kick it. Talking soccer. Soccer. Dozens of people love to talk about soccer.
Dozens.
All right, so here we go. Let's talk Houston area soccer. What the power program in the city of Houston, boys, is none other than Seven Lakes.
Oh, yeah.
They dominate. How many state championships?
They got back to back.
Boom, back to back. Okay, this year, do they have enough juice to do it again?
I don't see why not. They've got a strong start, 6-0, playing a few exhibition matches, but I don't know, like, you don't really hear too much about, like, star power. However, they're consistent. They went to state in 21, didn't make it out there, but they beat, I believe it was Flower Mound last year. They won the year before. I don't know. I don't see anything changing for Coach Jim Kruger. They're battle tested with that KDISD district, and it's really going to come down to, I mean, who can challenge them at this point? That's the issue.
What makes them so special? I think it's in that situation. I think it's coaching.
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with that because, I mean, definitely you have to rely on skill, but y- it's definitely, I would say, in terms of strategy, Coach Kruger tends to have the advantage. I don't know what he does. I don't know what they talk about, but it always seems to work out for them in the end, especially in that district, as I mentioned.
And, they're really big in select soccer in that area of town also. So they get a bunch of club kids, of course.
Definitely.
Another team over in Katy, Jordan. We just talked a little while ago about their basketball team balling right now. Soccer is also having a good year.
Definitely. They're started off 4-0-1. That goes like win, loss, tie, I believe. So, I mean, once again, it's that district. Cinco Ranch is going to be great too, and it really sucks if you're around like the fourth or fifth seed of that district because what can you do? You have to compete against that. But yeah, Jordan, they had a really impressive year last year. They ended up going to the regional quarters. Had to play Seven Lakes in that game. They ended up losing, unfortunately. But this year, they seem to be ready. They seem to have a lot of key aspects getting ready to go for them. And it's really going to come down to, I think, once again, how they can perform against that district.
You got anybody else that you really like, maybe in the Cy Creek district or Cy Fair ISD or down south. What are the teams kind of standing out for you right now?
Well, if you mention that, like Cy Ridge, they've had a very strong opening month. They're 5-0. Really, not many people have kept their attention towards them. They did end up going, I believe, to the area round last year. They're one of those sneaky teams that I think can make some noise with Coach Chris Helton at the helm of that program. They've they've won against Cy Woods, which, as the name might indicate or confuse people, that's, I believe, like 17-6A.
Yeah.
It's a different Cy Fair district, essentially. But they beat Cy Woods, and Cy Woods is a perennial power. They beat MacArthur out of Aldine, which, MacArthur tends to dominate Aldine, but they've had some trouble going up against Conroe's teams in the playoffs. Anyways, aside from them, I really like going all the way down south, Clear Lake. They've gone 7-1-1 to begin with. They believe they did go at least a couple rounds in the playoffs a year ago. They've just defeated Tompkins, which once again, that KDISD. Anytime you can beat one of them, that's a huge bonus for that program. And I don't know. I think they win their district as well this year.
So that's all 6A. Give me some 5A squads to be looking for.
I'm going to go back to my old alumni, Kingwood Park.
Okay.
They coming off a really strong year, an impressive year. They went to the regional semis last winter, and Coach Christian Boom, he's got something cooking over there. They believe 5-1-1 to begin with, and I don't know. I don't really see anybody competing with them in that district. They always seem to find ways to make deep playoff runs, and I don't think this should be any different. Obviously, I have a little bias towards them. But another one of our one of our campus clients, Terry, They just like Kingwood Park, they went 4 rounds deep a year ago. They're undefeated so far this year. I really am excited for that team. Out of Lamar Consolidated should be very intriguing to see what they're able to produce later down the line.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because BF Terry gets no love
No, they don't.
anywhere, no other sport except soccer, which is good for them. I'm pumped for the Rangers. Let's see what they can do. Privates, give me a couple of privates.
Well, St. Pius, they're usually a pretty consistent force out of TAPS. I'm not sure if it's D1 or 6A. It depends on the sport. Anyways, they've won a lot of their tournament games. They've yet to be defeated this year. It seems like they have another strong year in store for them. Other than that, TWCA, the Woodlands Christian, they've got a lot of key pieces back, and I mean, I did do a feature on one of theirs for their magazine, but aside from that, they just really, I don't know, they bought into that culture that is the Woodlands Christian Academy, and it seems like that culture that they're working off is thriving. John Cooper, one of those SPC teams, they might be a sleeper. Episcopal, they're coming off of SPC championship, so I don't know, a lot of private school, you never can tell. There's going to be like maybe one or two that are definites, but everyone else, it's kind of a question mark.
All right, so let's talk some girls soccer. Girls, here's the thing. So boys soccer, they don't really have a lot of scholarship opportunities
Not
to go
usually.
play in college just because it's the Title IX situation. There's a ton of opportunities to play girls soccer in college. The guys kind of get ripped off with that, but okay. Um, Girls soccer wise, though, we're staying out west again. 6A, this holds true in all sports. So now 6A has a Division 1 and Division 2 playoff, which just gives us another state champion. Could we have a pair of KDISD teams win state championships in boys and girls? Let's start with girls. Um, who do you like as it relates to the citywide girls brackets? Not brackets, but top rankings.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, we're going to keep it in West. Katie Jordan, that is another very they're thriving. They're on the up. They're on the come up, I
Yeah,
would say, definitely. I see them winning that district. They're 5-1-1. And as you mentioned, that playoff structure, it could give them an even greater opportunity to perhaps reach the state level. It's one less game they'll have to play, one less opponent. And I don't know. They reached the regional finals last year, and considering that new structure, I wouldn't be surprised if I see them at least win another 5 games, maybe more.
that's pretty cool. Ridge Point has always been a really powered team coming out of the Fort Bend ISD. They have to play Katy in that first or second round, I think, so that kind of bumps them out sometimes. Who do you like, Katy? Uh, Give me another couple other teams in 6A that you think have some staying power regardless of the region.
Well, I mean, as you mentioned, Ridge Point, they're the ones that have delivered the only loss to Jordan so far this year. They just beat them 3-0. And if I'm not mistaken, I might be, as you said, I think it was round two that they have to play those Katy teams. I'm pretty sure Jordan was the one that knocked them out last year. So that was a nice bonus for them, get a little revenge. They've won the district championship, the Panthers have, the last decade every year. And it's not going to change. I really would be surprised if it did. It's all about that longevity, that depth going into the playoffs. They've reached state 22 and 23, so they had a little hiccup last year. I don't know if they'll be able to. They should be able to recover. They got a great coach with Coach Torres there. Aside from them, as you mentioned, there are very few collegiate opportunities. I mean, you'll have some, but maybe like some lower
Yeah,
no-name schools. I say no-name. It's if you get to play college ball, that's great. Um, One of the few that have like has a huge following, a lot of national uh, eyes on her would be Sohana Spencer at Summer Creek. She's committed to Florida, and I mean you don't hear
it's a
that
big deal.
often. That
It's a
is a
big
big
deal.
deal, and she was one of the finalists for Player of the Year last year for VYPE Awards, and I wouldn't be surprised if she's on it again this year. Summer Creek, they've coming off an area round appearance. they do compete in a very tough district. I'll give them that. Like KDISD is up there, but they have to play Kingwood, who won the district last year, and Kingwood start it's off to a hot start. They're 7-0-1, I want to say, whereas Summer Creek's 5-2. So a lot of potential there in that district. Uh, Other than that, Lamar, like one of our campus clients, Houston Lamar, they're 5-0 to begin with, and they defeated Summer Creek. They defeated Fulshire. They've won 2 straight district titles. I really am excited for them. It's always great to see some of our familiar schools that we get to go out to have some love, get some success. And in terms of 6A, it's really wide open because you never can tell. Bridgeland's always a threat. Uh,
It seems like Cinco, 7, those teams out west are pretty good. The Woodlands is always
Yeah.
usually really good.
Grand Oaks girls might be really good too
Yeah.
this year. So I mean, it's a toss up. We won't really be able to tell until the district matchups start off before we can start really having analyzing the future of the playoff structure. So it's going to be difficult until then.
5A.
Back
5A and privates.
back to Kingwood Park. Coach Jess White, who I'm friends with, obviously, but he was actually my world history teacher. It was fun. U.S. history, but yeah, Kingwood Park. They're always a consistent threat in terms of 5A. They won't have to play against. I mean, Goose Creek Memorial. They've elevated to 6A, and
Yeah.
Goose Creek went to. I believe they were in the state semis, or no, they went to the regional finals or some regional semis, whatever. So there are less teams they'll have to really contend with. I really see them winning district. It's about the making that run because they did get eliminated in the second round last year, which was not what I expected. I expected them to at least go 3 or 4. And the standard is the standard with that program, and I think this is the year they really make another run. I believe they've reached state before. I'd have to double check.
They've won state.
They've won state. That's
Yeah.
right.
Allie Bird, I believe.
That's right. That's right. I remember now.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. I feel old now. I'm
Yeah.
graduated in 17. And
Sidebar.
sidebar. Yeah. I believe there's a few other like Lake Creek might be a good
Yeah.
girls program, but Kingwood Park's on the top of my list in terms of that.
When I think of soccer, I think of the heat and running around in the summer. You know what I don't see? Wearing parkas around. The problem with soccer, it's in the freaking winter, bro. It's so cold. And you ain't catching me out of soccer games. So we're going to send Ogle to every soccer game there is in the city of Houston, especially when the weather gets cold.
You're gonna give me a call and be like, how is it? I'm like, fucking cold out here. Thank you. Yeah, that was always a difficult aspect whenever I played soccer. Like once you get a sweat going, it's not that bad. But once you first get out there and it's brisk, it's 30 degrees outside.
Raining.
Yeah, it's
No thanks.
yeah. That really makes you think about it. But yeah, it's not always the easiest sport to work with, and I love it. I know you're not a gigantic fan of it. You think it kind of progresses a little slowly.
You're putting me on blast right now.
Yeah, you put me on blast every day.
I love soccer. I do love soccer. The beautiful game.
It's the world sport.
The beautiful game.
Beautiful game.
All right, so hey, look, we did volleyball podcasts, we did football, we did volleyball. Now we are rocking some soccer. Okay, this is going to be several times during the season. We're going to catch up with these teams, maybe talk to some players and coaches, and follow it through the postseason. Ogle is on the scene, my dog.
That's right.
He's trying. All right, this is Matthew Ogle. Let's kick it every week. Soccer, Greater Houston. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you at the game.